Good morning, grade 5. I hope everybody's doing well and you're ready for today's lesson. So let's get started. So you can open up your textbooks on page 88. Today we'll be doing a listen and speak. So it says, your teacher will read the fairy tale The Fisherman and His Wife by the Grimm brothers. Okay, so I will be playing you a video about this fairy tale. All you have to do is listen to it carefully. But before you listen, it says, number 1, look at the picture. Okay, so we have a little picture of a fisherman. And then it says, what do you think the story will be about? So you can just answer that question by yourself by looking at the picture, right? So let's watch the video and listen carefully.
Not so long ago, lived a humble fisherman and his wife. They had a small, filthy shack, really close to the sea. One day, while fishing, he caught a big flounder. "Let me go," the flounder begged, "for I am an enchanted prince." The fisherman believed the talking fish and set it free. He went back home and told his wife what had happened. "Did you ask him for anything?" she asked right away. "At least for a little cottage for us to live in?" She argued and she argued that he had to go back. So even though he didn't want to, he finally did. He called out to the flounder and then walked back home, only to see a beautiful cottage where his shack used to be. But his wife wasn't happy. Oh no! Now she wanted a palace. She argued and she argued, and he finally went back to the sea. He called out to the flounder and then walked back home, where he got blinded by the shiny new towers of the palace. He thought she'd be happy, but his wife wasn't at all. Now she wanted to be a king. So he walked back and spoke to the flounder again, and came back home to find her sitting on the throne. It wasn't enough for her. She wanted more. She became the emperor, and soon enough, the Pope. But as she craved for more, one sleepless night, she wished the ultimate wish. She wanted to be like a god. The fisherman wouldn't do it, but she argued more than ever. As he walked to the sea, the nice wind turned into a storm. He called out to the flounder and told him her new demand.
"Go home,"
the flounder said.
"She has everything she deserves now."
As the fisherman walked home, he saw their filthy shack back there. They still live there today, wishing they'd asked for a little less.
Okay, so that was the fairy tale about the fisherman and his wife. So on the screen I have the words of the fairy tale. So I will also be sending this in the group so you can read through it by yourself once again in case you missed anything in the video. But let's just have a look at the questions. So there's a question 1 and question 2. Both of it says listen carefully to part 1 of the story, and then the second one says to listen carefully to part 2 of the story. So once you read the story again, you can answer these questions according to each part, right? The question says that we must answer it in class, or it says in groups, but we're not in classroom right now, so we will answer these questions by yourself, right? Also, we have our word list block, the little blue block, and the word we have there is flounder, right? So that is a type of fish. And then the word realistic. So this can happen in real life. So that's a little word list block over there. So for homework, you will need to write the heading, date and page number and draw a line. So you will need to also read the story once again by yourself. Like I said, I'll send the story in our WhatsApp group. Then it says complete the questions 1 to 2 on page 88. So what I just went through with you now in the previous slide. And this must be completed in your English workbook. Right, so that's all for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the story about the fisherman and his wife, and you must enjoy doing your homework. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.